I'm LaDon Elliott,
I'm Nicole Bradley.
and we are back. We're on day 6 of our 12-day Conquering the Inner Storm live stream, where we're walking the RPJs, the Reimagined Potential Journalers, through how to approach using and navigating the journal. So it's been a real good 5 days. So I know
Absolutely.
won't be any exception. And we will be sharing our experiences and going through the activities as we have the previous night. And we also have a special guest tonight. So I'm excited to get to that part of the evening. So before I jump in, I want to say hello and thank you for joining us tonight. Verna, Dot, Felicia Taylor, and Natasha. I can see other people out there, but again, if you don't say hello, I can't give you a personal shout out. So please, please, please type your name in there, say you're watching, say hello, so I'll be able to kind of recognize you and give you many thanks for joining us tonight. So,
Absolutely.
yeah, tonight's topic, lifestyle topic number 6, is navigating relationships and dating. So before we jump in, Nicole, do you want to say anything about this topic or do you want to jump right on in?
Oh man, oh man, oh man. That, that, that's what I got right there for you.
Okay.
That's what I got.
Okay. Okay. Well,
That's what I got.
with that being said, we're going to go ahead and read the excerpt from this topic, navigating
Okay.
relationships and dating. So, navigating relationships and dating can involve exploring your own values, boundaries, and needs and communicating them to others. It may also involve understanding the needs and values of others and finding ways to compromise and build trust. It can be helpful to take the time to get to know someone before committing to a relationship and to be honest and open with your communication. Building strong communication skills and practicing healthy conflict resolution can also be important in maintaining healthy relationships. Ultimately, the key to successful relationships is to find someone who shares your values and is supportive of your growth and happiness. So that's the excerpt. That's how this chapter is starting off. We
Hmm.
have had difficulty picking one word. I did pick one word
Yes,
this time, but this excerpt is chopped so full of words
I agree.
that makes sense for this topic. But we'll dive in. Our first activity is the one word activity. Nicole, you wanna jump in first?
I jump right in, and just for the viewers, I am uh, again in the car. My little one now, we're going home
It's dragging, Nicole.
two-time
Nicole,
victors,
Nicole,
and so I have my
Nicole,
notes here.
Nicole.
Uh-oh.
It's dragging
Can
pretty
you
bad.
hear me?
I can hear you, but it's dragging really, really bad.
I can hear you guys. Can you hear me? LaDon, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you now. It's dragging really bad.
Can you hear me better now?
I can. Your picture is frozen, but we can hear
It
you.
may be the area I'm in.
Okay, well, there you go. Go ahead.
Okay. Can you hear me better, LaDon?
No, it's frozen again. I'll just go ahead and jump in, and then hopefully you'll get to a better area.
For this section, my one word okay.
All right. So for this section, my one word is communication. Communication, communication. And that word is going to allow me to cheat as it relates to some of the other words in this section. So, communication as it relates to relationships and dating is the most effective yet undervalued and underused, ignored tool in relationships. Communication is the key to everything. So, when I say communication, I mean your ability to speak and your ability to listen. So you have to be able to do both, right? You have to be able to openly and honestly communicate your needs and your desires to your partner. How else are they going to know how to fulfill them? a lot of times we get angry because we assume that because this person is our partner, that they should know what you want. They may be a lot of things: kind, intelligent, sweet, supportive, but mind readers, they are not. So you have to clearly communicate what you need and what you want. But in order for you to do that, you have to know what you need and what you want. So communication is a big piece. And as far as listening is concerned, you have to be available and open to listen to what your partner needs. A lot of times we just want to love in the way that is familiar to us and give love the way that we want to give it, and that's not fair or healthy for the relationship. So you have to be able to process what your mate is saying to you, whether they are speaking directly to you and saying, this is what I want, or this is what I need in the moment of a conversation. If they are not articulating that, you have to pay attention to their actions, what they're telling you with their actions. So communication, communication, communication. I cannot say that enough. If you're not communicating, you can bet you're going to experience a myriad of problems in your relationship. So communication is my word.
So you had one word this time, LaDon.
2 nights in a row, I've had one
girl,
word.
you better
Yeah.
stop.
All right. So what's your one word?
The one word I'm trying to tell y'all is honest.
Honest. Okay.
So honest to me, and I'm gonna take a glance down some because I'm at a red light, is being transparent, vulnerable, and ripe for change. And so honest to me means honoring your word, being honorable in your actions, meaning your word and your actions marry up with each other. Being vulnerable when you either can or can't do something, or you don't know what to do, and just putting it out on the table. I think that's important. And then the last part is being ripe for change. So there was a point in my life where awesome, dashing, dapper young man like a Ron would have came in my life, and I probably would have chewed him up and spit him out. I probably would not have been ready to accept the type of, you know, mate and partnership that he was able to offer me at the time. So I think you have to be honest with yourself whether or not you're in a good place to welcome and receive a mate.
Yeah, that is huge, because a lot of us are in love with the idea of being in love, but don't love ourselves and don't know how to love someone else, nor do we know how to receive love. So that was a major thing that you just said, being able to receive what someone is bringing you. Yeah, that's major. Yeah, you put quotation marks around that. I mean, that's real
I think
serious.
that's so important. I think there were times in my life where some good potential partners came through, great guys. I just was not in the place. I was not ready.
Yeah.
And I think everyone needs to assess that to an extent and make a decision on whether or not this is something you can do or can't do.
Yeah, and I don't think a lot of people give it that much forethought. What I mean by that, because we want to be loved by someone, we want to be cared
That's
for,
right.
be nurtured, we want to be in a relationship, and we just might not be in a space in our life, whether we just don't have enough room on our plate to focus on someone like that, or we're just not mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically available enough to give to someone in that way. And a lot of times we're not honest because we're selfish and we want somebody in our lives, and they have to suffer because we're not in a place to give of ourselves like that. So you're right. Again, I think we have to be honest with ourselves and not harm someone else in the process of trying to get love when we're not able to give it or receive it. Yeah.
Right.
Really, really good, really good. So let me say hello again to Verna, Natasha, Hacksaw. Thank you for joining. Marilyn, Betty. We'll see you guys out there. We appreciate you, Felicia and Dot. Thank you guys for joining. And I'm just making sure we didn't have any new comments. I think I got a few more yeses that you guys could hear us. And thank you for being patient as we move through this day 6. And hopefully we've left all the technical difficulties and challenges behind and be smooth sailing from the rest of the show. So
Right.
we'll move right into our quote and question. And I think I have the first one.
All
So
right.
quote, love is an untamed force. When we try to control it, it destroys us. When we try to imprison it, it enslaves us. When we try to understand it, it leaves us feeling lost and confused. By Paulo Coelho. So I'll say for myself, before I get into what I really want to say, I've never tried to control people in a relationship, meaning I've never thought of someone as mine. I've never been a possessive person, like you're mine now and you can't do this and you can't engage with these people and you can't do these things. That's never been me because I've not wanted anybody to treat me that way. I've never wanted my relationship with another person to feel like a prison, right? So I don't love in that manner. As a matter of fact, I've been told I was going to say on several occasions, but if I'm honest, with every guy that I've had a relationship, that I relationship like a guy. Like I'm not jealous. I'm not gonna check for you. I'm not doing all that stuff. You know, if you want to be here, you'll show up right. You'll show up like you need to show up and you won't give me any reason to doubt you. But what I have done that has been negatively impactful in my relationships is relationship from a place of fear, right? So and not fear with the relationship, but my own personal hangups. Like I'm gonna go out and get it. I'm not gonna be without, not at all. And especially after I had those 2 little people that are grown people now, we were just not gonna be without. I'm gonna get out there. I'm not gonna wait for you to give it to me. I'm not gonna be dependent on a man to make sure everything is okay. When whatever you bring to the table, you add to, but I'm not dependent on you. And so if we were in the relationship and you didn't have that same kind of attitude regarding going to get it, that created a level of insecurity in me. Even though I knew I did not need you in that way to take care of me, in the back of my head, it was, well, what if I break my leg? Like, what if something happened and I can't go to work? I'm gonna need you to be able to jump
That's
right
right.
in full force and not be an issue. And so when you're not able to do that, that creates an insecurity in me. That's something I have to deal with, right? It creates an insecurity in me, but it causes me to engage you in a different type of way in the relationship. Not always healthy, not always respectful, even. And so I am aware of that, something I've worked on, something I continue to work on, because again, at the end of the day, I had to say to myself, no, I don't want anybody to come into my life and be in a relationship with me and be a burden. But at the same time, I don't necessarily have to hold them responsible for things that I can fully take care of myself, because they can add to the relationship or to my life in different ways. So that was something that I've had to contend with in a relationship. So what I did want to say, when we come into a relationship and we start to think that we own somebody because they're our person, your relationship is bound to crumble in some sort of way. When we try to prevent others from growing as individuals because we are afraid if they grow, they'll grow apart from us, it's bound to crumble. When we try to keep the relationship from growing, if you met me at 18, I'm not the same person at 28. I'm not the same person at 38. And if I am, it's a problem, right? I've evolved. I've learned some things. I've experienced some things. So I have different interests. So hopefully, as the relationship is evolving, you're not sitting around thinking, dang, I wish I had the 18-year-old LaDon. She don't live here no more, right? Appreciate the 28, 38, 48, whatever age I'm at, that LaDon, and continue to try to build on that. So that's my thought about that particular quote. You cannot imprison somebody. Anytime your relationship, and this is any type of relationship, starts to feel like a prison, it's the wrong relationship to be in.
That's what I be trying to do. I be trying to lock people down,
No.
lock people up.
Now
I'm
I
joking.
want you to be here because you want to be here. I want us to be in this cage, but I want the door to be open and you to come in and out as you please, right? I don't want you to, I don't want to feel like I have to lock it up every time I leave. No. Mm-mm. So the quote for that question is, do you believe you are worthy of love, and how do you practice self-love? Yes, I believe I'm worthy of love. And I know that's an issue with some people. They may not have recognized it because they've always been in toxic relationships, whether it was a family relationship or friendship or whatever kind of relationship, and it's always been toxic. They never received healthy love, so they didn't even know that they had an issue with feeling worthy. So when someone comes into your space that is treating you differently than this toxicity that you've experienced before, it feels weird and it feels strange, and you start to question your worth. Well, that's never been an issue for me. I've always felt like I deserve love, and I deserve love in the way that I need to receive love. So that's not an issue. How do I practice self-love? I try to be the love that I want. So however I need to be loved, I try to give myself that type of love first. I try to bring that type of peace to me. I try to bring that type of joy to me. I am very intentional about practicing filling my own bucket of love. So, one, I'm not relying on anybody else to do that for me, and that's a form of self care. Um, I'm not relying on anybody else to do it for me. I'm not putting that undue pressure on them. And I know how to communicate to you what my needs are because I've worked through them myself. So that's how I show up for myself, filling my own love bucket and making sure that the love is not conditional. The love is not the love is not coming from a place that's not genuine or peaceful, right? I'm not out here saying I love myself and are able to show you that I love myself because I go out and buy myself things. No, I'm able to say that I love myself because I can sit with myself and be with myself and appreciate who I am in those quiet moments and love everything about it. So yeah, just filling my own bucket. So yeah. Well, thank you, Alicia, for joining. I appreciate you joining tonight. So the first quote was around not trapping anybody in your love space. And the question was, did I believe I was worthy of love, and how do I practice self-love? So I'm going to ask everybody in the chat, our RJ, our RP journalers, if you believe that you're worthy of love, just put a yes. I just want you to put a yes in the comments and tell me one way that you show yourself self-love. Tell me one way that you show yourself self-love. Okay. So I'm going to move on to quote number 2 because I have that, and I think Nicole will round us out with the last 2, and then we will bring our special guest on. So quote number 2: love is not about finding the right person, but creating the right relationship. It is not about how much love you have in the beginning, but how much love you build until the end. Woo, that's unknown. So why this quote resonates with me so much is because we make these crazy lists of this person got to do this person got to have this person, all these things, and they are idealistic. Now, I'm not saying not to have a preference. Yes, have a preference. Date who you are attracted to. Like, have a preference. Not saying that. I'm saying a lot of times we put things on these lists, and if a person doesn't check everything off that list, we may dismiss them, and we may be missing a very good person. And I'm going to just say something very generic. He must be 6'5" and must be this. Well, what if you meet the love of your life and he 5'10"? But because he was 5'10", you checked him off the list. So again, when we're thinking about the right person, it does not necessarily have to be a checklist of what they bring to the table and how they bring to the table financially, bring to the table in their title, or how they look. All of those things are important. I'm not saying they are not, but you need to be thinking about how you want a person to make you feel, how you want a person to make you grow or help you grow and evolve as a person. what can this person bring to your life to add to your life? So you want to build the right relationship with the person that's a good match for you based on what your needs are and not how they look, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's not about the love in the beginning, because that will fade, especially if it's superficial, especially as time goes on, because we start to take our partners for granted and all kinds of things. So again, we have to be very much aware and always being in love and being in a relationship is much like a job. You got to clock in that thing every day. You got to put some effort into it every day. And I tell couples that I coach, you should have performance reviews, because those are
Mm.
honest conversations about how am I doing? What
Okay.
can I do better? Let's plan the year, what I need for myself individually, what we need as a family. That
Right.
should be bar none. Everybody should be doing that, right? And so you are able to continue to build on your love as you evolve as an individual and as a couple. So yeah, I think it's important that you have those conversations about how we're going to grow our relationship, because we come into relationships with a lot of preconceived, well, my mom and my daddy did it like this, or the couple that I see on Instagram, that's how their love looks, so let's make our love look like that. No, no. Mm-mm. Now it ain't a cookie cutter thing. You got to work on your thing, right? So
Right.
how can we navigate the differences and find ways to compromise in a relationship? I say embrace and appreciate the differences. Now, this is something I had to learn the hard way. You know, you embrace and appreciate the differences. That's the beauty of loving someone else. They come with experiences, they come with ways of thinking that you don't have, they come with the love language that you might not have ever been exposed to, that you get the chance to experience. So open your arms and figure out a way to embrace the differences rather than see everything that's wrong with the differences. Because I can do that. Oh, I can point that out to you and you can point it out to me. But think about how these differences can help you grow as a person. And I mentioned love languages. You have your love languages, the 5 love languages that everybody talks about. You have your financial love languages. You have your religious love languages. You might be a spender,
Right.
they might be a saver. Figure out what you can learn,
Right.
how you can learn how to save. Figure out how you can learn not to be so miserly over things and enjoy something every once in a while. If someone comes to you from a different religious background, see what you can learn from that, right? See how you can receive love different and give love different. So I say just appreciate the differences. That's my answer to that. So before you jump in, Nicole, let's see. I got a few yeses regarding
Okay.
people loving themselves, and um, Berna says she loves to pamper myself. Dot
Ah,
said
all right
pamper
now.
herself. And Dot says sitting on the deck in peace. Yes. Yes, that's a good way to practice self-love. Just to get away from it all sometimes and allow yourself to clear your mind. Yes. Yes.
Right.
Yes. Okay. So, did you have anything to add to what I said before you jump into yours?
No, I think we good to go.
Okay. All right.
All
So,
right.
your quote and question, you were driving and I don't
I
need to have
no,
you
I didn't
repeat it.
pull it off. I'll
Oh,
be
I was gonna
good. I
say,
got it.
I can
Yep,
read it to you. Okay.
I got it. So my quote was, love is not about possession. We talked about that a little bit. It's about appreciation, unknown. And so for me, I think love is about both. And I was joking initially when I was like, "Oh, I'm possessive," and I'm technically not, but I look at possession and appreciation a little differently. So, for example, I think what God has given me ownership of, like my children. Right now, I'm saying ownership. That sounds slave like. I didn't mean it that way, but what God has entrusted to me, my slave master.
Yeah, I was ready to spit my water out. Oh my God.
What God has entrusted to
Oh,
me, like the family that God has granted me with, my husband, my children, my grandchildren, my close friends and family. Like I'm possessive about them, meaning I probably knock somebody out.
gotcha.
They mess with those folks, right? So I have kind of a possession about them because I'm like, they're my people, they're
Yeah,
mine,
yeah,
you
yeah,
know.
I get it.
But I think, and for me, appreciation can be for my people, but appreciation can be for mankind. So I
Okay.
looked at it from a standpoint of, yeah, I am a little bit, you know, crazy, deranged, possessive about my folk, you know, because they're my folk. And I'm like, I will knock somebody, I will slap somebody. I ain't got no problem. Right? No one wants these hands.
Nope, 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 nope.
So so that's kind of how I looked at that quote. It's I love all of mankind, but I'm possessive about the my village,
But your
my
village.
community.
Okay, I get it.
And then my question was, in what ways do you express value and show appreciation for yourself and your partner? And I was like, ooh, this is it wasn't hard. It was just really thinking of the right words to say. So, for example, I feel like I value myself and my self talk, self treatment, how I carry myself, what I do for myself, um, how I believe in myself. I believe that's how I value myself. And I think how I value my partner is kind of I'm the surprise planner. I like to go above and beyond on little minor things like, you know, if he asks me to grab his nail clippers, I probably set up a whole manicure and pedicure set and start talking like I'm Vietnamese because I'm like, we having an experience right now. And I'm like, you know, what gel do you need? You want some gel? Like I'm doing all of that, right? So I know it's not necessary, but it makes the experience memorable.
Yeah,
And then I think I make time to listen. I make time to really sit down and say, okay, what do you need from me right now? Or what's going on with your day? And I genuinely want to know.
okay, that's big.
So
Big.
those are a few ways I think I express and show appreciation for myself and my partner.
Okay.
And I
Those,
like what Verna said about self pampering. I
yeah.
love the pampering. So for me, that's nails, toes, hair, and massages. Like a day at the spa is better than a trip to Dubai for me.
Oh wow. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I'm gonna
I
have
know you going. I know you want to fly.
I'm
I
gonna
know
have
flight
crunchy nails, but I'm on
overrated.
that plane. Okay. I'm gonna be on that plane. So yeah.
Gotcha.
Okay, before we jump into the next question, I just want to remind everybody we are on day 6 of our 12-day Conquering the Inner Storm live stream. Please go out on Etsy.com to purchase the book. Just search the title and you'll see the picture of our book and just purchase the book out there. And tonight's topic is navigating relationships and dating. So, all right, Nicole, let's jump right on back into your next quote question.
So we'll go right into the next quote and question. So the next quote is, the best and most beautiful things in the world cannot be seen or even touched. They must be felt with the heart. And that's by Helen Keller. And I just couldn't agree with this more. You know, when folks say the best thing in life are free, the things that mean the most are just non-physical. They're not material. They're not something you can physically touch. It's about how you feel when you're with a person, when you think about a person, when you're talking to a person. Um, you know, how you miss that person when you're not in their presence. All of those things to me are just so important. So I agree that the most beautiful and the best things in life cannot be seen or touched.
Mhm.
And I'm saying they're free, but they come with the cost. Nothing's free. You
Yeah,
know, you
yeah.
got love and you got pain. You know, you got an opposite to everything. So I'm just blessed that I have a lot of unseen things that I experience every day that keep me going in the right direction.
Okay, okay.
And then my question is, um, do you trust or fear your heart's guidance?
Ooh, I
I
love that
want, and
question.
so again, you
I
know,
love that
I
question with
try to
Amelia.
see how well our reimagined potential journalists know Nicole. So if you had to guess, do I trust my heart or do I fear my heart most? If you had to guess, you can go ahead and put it in the chat. If do you feel like I trust my heart more or do I fear my heart more?
I love this. Why you guys are putting that in the chat. Thank
Uh-huh.
you, Jackie, for joining. I love this question. When
I
we
do
first
too.
had put it in there, I was like, this is a lot of people don't realize or don't even think about it. But let's hear your answer.
Oh, okay. I'm scared. I'm scared to tell y'all. No, I'm just telling you. I think I definitely trust my heart's guidance. I trust my heart's guidance because I believe that God has gifted me with a high level of discernment.
Okay.
And so I think that differentiation allows me to be trusting in what kind of falls out of my heart. And I put it here, I was raised to honor my heart. So I talk about my upbringing a lot, but one thing that I feel like my family did get exactly right was to trust my heart. Trust, kind of bet on you.
Okay.
And and I was encouraged to have probably a healthy level of risk taker, risque behaviors, for a girl, for a little girl, from my parents. So I think they trusted in me enough to say, you know what, I think her heart can handle it. Let her go out there and, you know, take the risk and see what happens. And we know she'll bounce back. So
Yeah.
my I trust my heart's guidance. I do not fear my heart's guidance whatsoever.
Yeah. Yeah. That's probably one of my favorite questions in the book. So Verna answered fear, that you might fear your
Burner, burner.
Verna, put in the chat why you thought that. I'm interested to know. So this question is so powerful to me because
Yeah, I love this question.
I think in a lot of ways, love included, we don't recognize how much we don't trust ourselves, how much we don't trust ourselves. And
Mm,
we make a lot of decisions based on or based out of fear, you know. Um, and love is one of those things we really need to think about that, because I don't want people to be out here. Your heart, your heart, let me say this, this is my belief. The heart is the most important organ in the body, not just because it pumps, keeps you alive, but because I believe that that's the thing that attracts everything to you. Your heart knows. Your heart
mhm,
knows. And I've been in conflict with my heart. I've never not
mhm.
trusted it, but I've been in conflict, meaning my heart was
Right.
screaming one thing, but my mind, the fear, the stories that you tell yourself that you can or can't do this, that you should or shouldn't do this or whatever, you're not obedient to it, that you do something the opposite of what your heart is saying. And that's when you experience all kind of stupid stuff that you don't necessarily, that's when it's an uphill climb in life. But
Right.
I think you must trust your heart, and you can't be fearful of what it's trying to tell you or trying to lead you to, because that's why it's there. It is pure and unadulterated, right? It knows what it wants, it knows how to get there, and trust it. Just follow it. Just follow it. I mean, yeah, I can't express how much people listen to, and y'all have to remember, the brain is just a storage place for everything that has occurred in your life. The brain is a storage place for positive beliefs or negative beliefs. So if your heart
Right.
is coming up with something and it's pure, but your brain is telling you something that's the opposite,
Right.
remember, you're pulling from data that may not be good data. It may be faulty data, and the heart is always pure. So that's my 2 cents on that.
I was gonna say, well, Verna, I appreciate the guess. Uh, I do. I do. I fear my brain. I actually fear my brain,
Yeah, yeah,
not my heart, though. I trust my heart.
yeah, yeah. And I think I'm right there with you. I probably am more fearful of my brain and than my heart. I've learned to allow it to guide me. So um again, we're on day 6 of the 12-day Conquering the Inner Storm live stream. And for tonight's topic, we have invited special guest Felicia Taylor, and I'm so excited to have her here tonight. So thank you for coming, Lisa. We can't hear you. You're on mute.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
there you go. There you go. There you go.
Okay. Hello.
Okay, before you jump in, I have to read this comment from Hacksaw. Said the heart is a trickster. Always follow the mind. So I agree to a certain degree. So your heart, I don't think is a trickster. I think your heart always knows. And I think I'm gonna go down a long road. So I'm gonna cut myself short because I will take up all the time for our guests because I can go on and on about that topic. So I'm gonna cut it short right there, but I'm
Cut
gonna
it short. Cut it short.
I'm gonna respond to that in the comments, Hacksaw. So thank you, Lisa, for joining us tonight. And I'm glad to have you here on this topic and to hear what you have to say. So as we've done with our previous guests, I'm just going to ask you to a couple of things. Share what you think about the journal, your experience with the journal, and then I want you to, as much as you feel comfortable with, share your experience with the journal, whether you're talking about a specific activity, you want to share what you did with that activity, or share what you've written with that activity, share how it impacted you. So we're going to open the floor and let you just kind of tell us on this topic, navigating relationships and dating, how the journal impacted you in this process.
Ooh. Well, I started the journal in December.
Okay.
And we're doing it as a group, me and two of my cousins.
Okay.
Yes, so I don't know. I received it from you and I bought it from one of my other cousins that I felt really needed it to help navigate some stuff.
Okay.
So we were talking about it, and then Peaches was like, I want a journal. So I want a book. So she ordered it. And we were just, once I figured the book out, because I had had it for a few months before I even opened it, because I was like, oh my God. But once I opened it and figured it out, I was like, oh wow. So we actually meet the last Sunday of each month and
Okay.
talk about that. We do a Zoom call and talk about the previous months, what we went through. We'll go through each question and each quote, and we just read what we wrote.
Okay.
And how we feel. So the last couple of ones really helped, because it helped us touch on childhood things and just a lot of family stuff. So it has impacted me that way. I felt that me and my cousins have gotten closer, and it worked out great for me doing it as a group, because I just feel like I was better with me doing it by myself. I hit and miss. I ain't gonna lie. I look at it and or I do it. But with me doing it as a group, it kind of holds me accountable.
Yes.
So like I gotta do it. We gotta talk about this. I gotta meet. So it has really helped us to just let go of a lot of things.
Okay. Okay. Well, you're right on target with doing what it's supposed to do. It's supposed to allow some things to come up, deal with them, and then let them go, release them. I'm so glad that you have people that you
Yeah, that's awesome.
feel enough to do it with. So yeah, that's everybody that's been on that has gone through the journal. I think they've done it independently. The gentleman that was on the other night, Milton, he talked about the value in doing it in a group, and he thought it would be amazing to do it in a group, but you're the first person to be on that's actually in a group and going through the process. So that's amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
We love it. It's great.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yay. So kind of walk us through your experience on this topic going through the journal. Like you can pick out one of the activities or just tell us kind of what you've done.
Well, I did the one word.
Okay.
And my one word that I pulled out of this, I kind of like highlighted some stuff.
She got like 32 words. Okay,
But I picked one word because that one word resonated with the rest of them. You got to have that. And my word was time.
Okay.
I've always been a stickler on time, because I truly feel like when they ask you these questions, what's the most important thing in a relationship? My answer has always been time.
Okay.
Because it takes time to learn how to communicate with somebody. You ain't gonna just learn how to communicate with them by saying hello. You know, it takes time to build a healthy relationship. It takes time to learn how to support that person in a way they need to be supported, because it's not gonna be like your last relationship. You can't treat the two the same. So, and definitely takes time to navigate through a relationship. So everything, no matter what you say, I just feel like everything goes, it takes time to learn it and do it. So that was my word, and it's always been time.
Oh my goodness. Okay. You made me think about some things. You're right. Time and the way that you've described time and the importance of time in a relationship makes so much sense, because if you don't give things enough time, if you jump in the relationship before it's time to, you might run into a barrier, some walls. If you don't take time to get to know this partner, you can't determine, well, this person before they become your partner, you can't adequately vet them to determine whether or not it's somebody you want to move forward with.
Right.
If you're not spending a appropriate amount of time together, you won't get the time to learn about that person. And you're right. You got to figure out what this relationship is, because it's not like the last one, right? Hopefully it's not. Hopefully you're a new person coming to the
Yeah.
relationship and they're a new person coming to the relationship. But
Yeah.
time is so, so important. And I don't know that I've thought about it in the way that you expressed it tonight.
Right. I don't think I have either.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Time.
that's always been my word. It just takes time to learn how to do it all. Communicate, love them, takes time to love, takes time to fall in love, takes time to fall out of love.
Yeah.
Time
Yeah.
is it.
Yeah.
So,
Now, with time and entering a new relationship for you, I'm gonna go Steve Harvey, because he don't put a hard number on it. You know, you're supposed to have all this summed up in 90 days and you know a person. Is there a specific time frame that you have in mind when going into a relationship, that all the things that you talked about should occur?
no, I never put a time on anything, because I get in one relationship where you may see somebody 2, 3 times a week. Then you get another relationship where you actually see somebody once a week or once every other week. So I've never, put a time limit on, okay, we gotta be at this point by this time, or this point by this time, because it's just all of mine just go with my feelings. And I'm not for sure if that's a good thing or not. But
No,
it's
no,
like,
no.
all of mine is just how I feel. How I feel concerning that person, about that person. Because when she was talking about, when you all were looking at when you talked about, do you trust or fear? My thing is with that is, if I listen to my head, I'm fearing. If I listen to my heart, I'm trusting.
Yeah.
And when the two go to battle, I'm just like, oh my goodness. So it's just one of those things, because my head can say some things and do some things, and my heart be like, girl, stop.
Yeah.
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 My head don't did a whole scenario. I got us married walking down the aisle, or I got you in a casket, and I'm done.
And see, I'm so glad you said that, because people will blame that on their heart. Your
Yeah.
heart, your heart knows when it's in a place, positive or negative. We
Yeah.
make stories up in our head around that. So your
Yes.
heart might see somebody and love it, love them, like it. We're the one that run all the way down the street with the rest of the narrative, and we
Yeah.
haven't even gotten to dessert yet on the first dinner. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Or if our heart is telling us that it's time to exit, our head will start saying stuff like, well, we've been here this long, we invested this amount of time, I can fix them. No, your heart is letting you know that you need to distance yourself. So I'm
Yes.
glad you made that distinction of what's happening in your heart and in your head. So
Yeah.
Nicole, what was your word from this topic?
Honest.
Honest. So Nicole's word was honest. My
Mhm.
word was communication, and your word was time. So to the RPJs, the Reimagine Potential Journalists in the chat, Now, this word, the words that we pick might not stick out to you, might not at all. You could have a totally different word, but I want you all to put in the chat based on the conversations we've had tonight and where you are as it relates to relationships and dating. Which word has the most meaning to you at this time? Communication, honest, or time? Just put the word that makes the most sense to you for you at this time in your relationship. For there to be good communication, for there to be honesty, whether it's with your partner or yourself, or time, the time you need. I just want to know. Go ahead and drop it in the chat.
And
Okay.
I was gonna say, Lisa, you brought up such a good point with time. I heard you kept saying time to do all of these things, but in my mind, I was thinking flow.
Mm,
If you're flowing in a positive direction, time really is irrelevant.
Mhm.
If things are flowing at a good pace, if that makes sense. If, you know, within the first 90 days, you know, you enjoy this person's company, y'all enjoy talking on the phone and then scheduling dates or whatever the case may be, it's a good flow. You feel positive with that person. I don't think time registers until you're trying to retrofit that into something that you want to do. Like, I want to get married by the end of this year. I want to have kids by the time I am X years old. You know, when you start putting timelines out there, that's when timing starts to be a problem.
Yeah, and that's why I don't do timelines. I just know it just takes me time to learn things. But yeah, when it comes to timeline, because I ain't gonna lie, I'm one of them people, if I'm feeling it and I'm crazy about you and blah blah blah, I can go walk down the aisle in 3 months. That's me.
Right.
I'm just
That's
saying, I'm
right.
being honest.
Yeah,
Or
absolutely.
it can, yeah, or because my thing, I'm like this. It's like I ain't gonna truly know you until we live together. But if everybody is honest in this thing, I'm like, what's the big deal? My mama my mama told me one time, because I have been married 3 times for those that don't know. And a lot of times I think it was just, a lot of times I know it was with my situation of being burned. My self-esteem was not there with I know for a fact with my first 2 marriages, it just wasn't there. I didn't, I had that mindset, well, they say they love me, I ain't gonna get nobody else. That was my mindset with that. So, and I married quick, because they said they love me and ain't nobody else gonna want me. So, and my mom would say, you got to stop marrying these men and divorcing them. And my words to her were, as long as the judge would say you don't, when I say I do, I keep doing it till I get it right. you know,
I heard that. But
that's me.
I tell you, with my first marriage, it was about time. I was about to pop. I was about to have my son.
Yeah.
So it was timing at that point. So we rushed to get married. Didn't work out because we was on a timeline. Second marriage was honestly, for me, probably love at first sight. He probably was like at first sight. He probably thought I was real sexy. I don't know. I'm just trying to put words in his mouth. But like when after the first kind of month of dating him, I was like, I'm done. I knew that this is the person I want to be with. So I agree with you when you have a certain, when your heart is in the right place, and everything else is aligned, and that person is just flowing along with that alignment for you, it's a wrap.
Yeah,
So,
it's just, and you look, I know people that had sex on the first date, still married 30 years later.
Yeah,
had
it
sex
happened.
on the first date. I know a man that him and his wife lived together for 20 years, got married, stayed married 2 years.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
It happens. It happens.
So
Time is relative. Time is important.
Yeah.
Relative to based
Yeah.
on where you are in your life and what's going on in your situation. Hacksaw said, you got it right this time. You got the right one this time. So okay. And so I'm going to jump back. Verna said to answering your question, Nicole, with fear was, and Verna put time in. Time was the most important thing to her for now. Time, communication, and honest. So she said time. but she said she wanted to say trust when you asked the question about trust or fear. But she said fear because you are bold and she felt like you could tackle any challenge regardless. So
Yes, 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 yes.
that's why she said that. So Lisa, I have another question about time.
Mhm.
Uh, I don't get the impression that you allow it to bother you, but I'm gonna ask, does other people's timeline of where you should be in your relationship bother you? Like somebody saying, "Oh, you've been together for so long, you should be married by now," or you haven't been together this long, why are you thinking about marriage?
Oh boy, that's that honest thing. Um, it can, yes, just straight up yes. Heck, don't be typing nothing while I'm talking. So, um, I'm like this. If you're talking to me one way and you're doing something totally different, I have a problem with it and I start checking out.
Okay.
Um, because if me and my if we're talking, I don't care about other folks. They go because folks be like they be trying to give you relationship advice and they have so jacked up. So
Very
you know, when it comes to other people, that
preach.
yeah, yeah. So you know what? It's like whatever. I see you on Facebook at the party,
Yeah.
but yeah, but if we're talking and feeling and you're always saying this to me or that, and but I feel like your actions are different, then I have a problem with that.
Yeah.
Because my thing is when I'm in a relationship, I don't see nobody but me and you. I don't see any outside people at all. And I've always been like that. I was like that with, the girl's dad. I because I'm a stickler really, and I don't even go to church every day, every Sunday. But I am one of those that believe when you say I do, that your spouse comes first. They come before your parents, they come before your kids, they come before everybody. And that has not always been the case. So it's like you're telling me one thing in private, but then you're acting another way in public. Then I'm like, I start kind of checking out and I just listen. I get to a point where I listen. I'm the type of person where as long as I'm talking and fighting, we good.
Yeah.
But when I just start looking at you and not saying nothing,
Checking.
yeah, I'm because I'm checking out.
Yeah.
I just because my thing is, if you tell me you love me and you tell me, I can't wait for this to happen, I can't wait for that to happen, we gonna be great together. And I'm like this, what the hell we waiting on?
Yeah. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, I'm like,
nothing is happening but time moving. Right. Yeah. Yeah.
right at this point, time moving because I'm like, what we waiting on? Because I'm again, people die every day. And
Yeah.
I just feel like it's just so much going on around us. And and that's when time, I don't like time because everybody feel like they got time.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh
That's
my
what
God.
they don't understand. That's what they don't understand. Everybody feels like they have time. And I'm like, okay,
Yeah. It's not promised. It's not.
no, it's not promised. So when it comes to that side of it, time is just, I'm like, yeah, time, you ain't a part of my vocabulary because it's just like you don't have it. And and I wanna see the world. I wanna do things. I wanna just, I don't know, just be out there, but I wanna do it with you.
Yeah. And you
So
answer.
I'm not one that gotta have all my time to myself. And I look, he gonna be fussing at me because he gonna be like, I saw your hands the whole time. Y'all know I talk with my hands. I've always talked with my hands. I'm sorry. So, so if they up in the air, I turn them this way so y'all can see nail polish so I don't just get back of my hands. But I'm just, but I'm just like that. I can be, and I think that's why the quote, that very first quote, love is an untamed force, and I know I'm untamed. I know I am. I am from one extreme to the other with you. I am the one that'll show up, you know, And we were, I can't, with him, and I love surprises. With him, I can't surprise him. So I'm always trying to figure out, because he is, I call him Google Earth. Whenever I say Google Earth, all my friends know who the hell I'm talking about. I call him Google Earth. He has the cameras at the house. See, I don't have cameras at my house. I'm like, look, I got insurance. Somebody steals something, it is what it is. You know,
Right.
I'm like, whatever. He has cameras everywhere. So don't he get a ding on the phone, he is on that camera. So I'm like, how can I surprise this man?
Right.
It
Right.
is
Right.
hard. And I'm already thinking in the future going, how am I ever gonna be able to surprise him once we live together? I'm like, I'm gonna have to cut the cameras off or something. What am I do? How am I going? Because that and he hates surprises. But on the total opposite, I love surprises. So when I say untamed, I'm that person where a few months ago, girl, it was damn 30 degrees outside. I put on my two-piece bikini and my fur coat and went to his house. I was like, Lord, if the police stop me, it is what it is. I'm gonna be like, well, I was going to boyfriend, So,
I'm
so
talking to grown folks, that's spontaneity, that's creativity,
it's like,
adventure, that is keeping it fresh. Oh my God.
yeah. So, and my girlfriends tell me all the time, they be like, we thought we were bad. This one right here, and they nickname me Closet Freak, because I'm always thinking of something to do. And I know Nell the same way. A lot of stuff I don't learn from her. I know she's the same way. So I'm always thinking about, how can I do this? So and luckily he was in the garage, and I drove up, girl, the garage door open. He turned around and looked at me. I got the coat open like this. Hey, he like to fell off the motorcycle. And that was just his reaction on that was, it was worth being clean for 20 minutes. It was well worth it. So I go from that extreme to the extreme of, spending no money to spending $4,000 on a trip. To me, it's only, I'm like, I said to myself all the time, it's only money here.
It circulates.
And he's totally different with that. Why'd you do that? Look. And so I don't know, girl. So no, I'm an untamed force. I love being an untamed force, and I'm not gonna change that.
So you said a lot, and you said a lot that is so important in a relationship. And being an untamed force in a relationship with somebody that's what I said earlier about differences. My quote and question. You have to learn to appreciate the differences, because you learn to love in a way that you were not loving, showing, expressing, or receiving love before. And that just allows us to open up like a flower, right? Yeah. And yeah, you want to move in this life. If you found that one that does it for you, to be able to experience all the things that you enjoy with that person, it makes this experience so much more fulfilling, so much more robust. So I get it. And you're right. You can't worry about what other people are saying, but if you can kind of get on the same page as it relates to your timing, it makes all the difference in the world in a relationship. And I'm glad you could connect with that quote in the journal about being an untamed force, because I'm learning as well how to navigate the world of relationships. I've been married. I married my college sweetheart. I've been divorced. I was in a long-term relationship. And the way I think about relationship now is completely different than the way I thought about relationship 20 years ago, 30 years ago, 10 years ago, 5 years ago. And again, that's time. That's being honest with myself. That's communicating with myself. Let's see. Oh, okay. Hex, I'll put in the comments, our secret. Berna Mans put in the comments, grown folk shit. Yes, it is, because we grown. We grown. We are all the way grown. And that's the whole purpose of this. I'm glad, I'm hoping, Lisa, as you work through this particular topic in the journal, that the questions, the quotes, the excerpt that you read where you had to pick the one word, it opened up something that you might not have delved into before, but if it did not open up anything new, it allowed you to be able to figure out how to be more honest with yourself and more honest with your partner about your needs. So
Yeah, he with him, and the other part of this where it says when we try to understand it, you know, we are all very strong-willed women in
yes.
this family. Very, very, very. And he is a old school. So he is, you know, he old school to a point where, you know, he comes over here and takes my trash out every Tuesday.
Okay.
He is just old school. So,
That's
yeah,
grown folks shit too. We
yeah,
like to be kind of
and
old
has a
school.
has a fit if I take it out myself. So he's very old school. So I'm having to learn how to.
And there you have it. I'm done. I'm done. You see the spin around? I'm done.
I see it. I see it. I see it.
So I'm
I love
having
it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Okay.
I'm having to learn how to let go of some things because we are so strong-willed. You know, like I don't need nobody. I can do this. I can do that.
Yeah.
So I'm with him. I had to learn how to let go because I was feeling confused and lost. And sometimes I'm here and he can say something. I just feel deflated. And that's not his intention. And I have to remember that he is really old school, where, you know, where you're doing this and we're doing that. And but I'm so free and just used to getting up going. I don't think about stuff. I just get up and go. And he is just more, baby, you got to watch what you're doing. Okay. This is my show, not yours.
One moment. One moment.
Okay. We're listening.
The conflict we have a lot is I live she lives a best she like to manifest stuff. She lives a manifestation life, right? Yeah. And the conflict comes in, manifestation is great, but I live a reality life. Everything is real for me. That's why I said the mind, the heart is a trickster, the mind is where you need to go. Because the mind to me is realistic. It lets me think. It lays situations out. I can lay this out, that out, and weigh the consequences of my situation. That's what my mind does for me. So a lot of times she says my negativity, but it's not really negativity. Is I look at situations and what's the fallout gonna be, and I can get in front of the fallout, and the positive part of it take care of itself. So a lot of things we have a lot of conflict about my living in reality because I'm looking for potential fallouts that I can fix before they fall out, and she calls my negativity. That's our conflict.
But I'll say this, sir, you're preaching to the choir because I am a planner. I have to know all the things, but I'm also a manifester, like Lisa. So I didn't hear her say that it was negativity. I heard her say that it's a difference in how we think. And I thought she was going down the path of I'm learning to appreciate and understand that because I hadn't had to deal with that. So are you finding a balance? Is that what I'm hearing?
We getting there. We getting there. Her and one of my daughters talk a lot. They is in agreement that I'm gonna throw something in there that's not, they call it negativity, but I call it getting in front of a fire.
Yeah.
Her and my daughter agree on he gonna say no when you say yes, and when you say yes, he gonna still say no.
But you have to. I'm gonna ask you if this is a true thing. With her being as free as she is and as adventurous as she is, has she opened you up to some things that you might not have engaged in because you're taking the safer route? Has she opened you up to things that you've enjoyed that you didn't think you were going to enjoy?
She's a new fire in my life, and she's a new fire in my life, and I actually say a lot of things she do. Sometimes I tell her no, she do it in a way, and I don't regret the things she did when I said no. But still, I'm gonna be solid in what I do. I'm gonna say no until we discuss it, turn it over, look at the other side of it, flip it upside down, and everything else. I'm still gonna. I'm real I'm real cautious about everything I do in my life.
Yeah.
I'm a planner and I'm very cautious. I just don't say, okay, she was telling y'all about the night she came over my house with her stuff, her outfit on, and I'm sitting in the garage working on my motorcycle. She was telling y'all about that, right? It was great. But if I know she was gonna do that, I said, hold on, what's the temperature outside? And who outside your door looking at you
And
outside the
see what
house?
and see
You know,
what you would have missed out on.
do you have enough? Do you have enough gas in your car? What if it broke down? What happens now? You got to walk home from there with that on. You know, that's me. I'm wearing everything out.
I got you. I got you.
Now,
I
what if
got
you caught a flat tire? You stand outside the car now trying to look at your flat tire. Somebody come up, ma'am, can I help you? And you got on what you got on. What the fuck? You be like, but that's me. I planned it out. She
I
should.
get that. I get
planned
that.
it out.
I have been that person, and I've dated someone that is Lisa, that helped me kind of come out of that. So yeah, I got you. Hold on, let me give some shout outs right quick because we've had a few people to join. I think I shouted out Dot before, but you came up as watching again. Thank you, Vivian, for joining. Thank you for Jika for joining. Let's see. I got a lot of smiley and happy faces after
Yay.
came to the picture.
Yeah, y'all didn't expect the two for tonight, did
No,
you?
I did not. Vernon Man says, I love it. Thank you, Tara, for watching. Vernon said, go ahead, old school. Come through. Fajika said, I love it. That's awesome. So yeah, balance is there. So getting back to the journal, I think you guys can see the benefit of having these lifestyle topics because it makes you have the conversation with yourself and with your hats off.
Well, I got to step away for a minute. I'm gonna say, I don't know who's the yin, who's the yang, but that's a we yin and yang that makes the circle.
Yeah,
We make
it works out. It
Yeah,
works.
we the yin and yang.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You got and look, for every positive attraction, you got negative attraction, and it comes together just like that.
Yeah.
You can't take two positive sides of a magnet; they will not connect. You got to take a negative side, and positive side, and they smash together. That's us.
That's it. That's it.
That's
And
all.
we love it. We love it. This
Okay.
is hashtag Black love is real. Hashtag Black love is everything. Hashtag Black love, I want me some. That's what this is. I love it.
Look, I got to step away. I got things I need to
Hashtag
do.
trench coat.
Love y'all. Y'all good with that?
Oh, good
Okay,
Lord.
okay,
Oh,
you better go
so
ahead.
sweet.
This has been the liveliest
I
episode.
know, right? I know.
Day six.
Girl.
Relationships and dating. I appreciate your honesty and you being so vulnerable on camera here and knowing that this is live. I appreciate your partner loving you enough and coming in to share the balance. And at the end of the day, that's all it's about. Communicating. You all are doing that. Trusting one another. You all are doing that. Being honest with one another. You all are doing that. You're figuring out your time and you're learning to love in a different way. And I'm hoping this journal has been instrumental, if not just in this chapter, but the chapters, the topics that you worked through before, that it's opened you up in a way that not working through the journal, you might not have experienced it that way, or might not have even dealt with it because a lot of things we keep tucked down so far, and it's safe for us to keep them tucked down, but we don't realize how much tucking them down weighs us down. So I'm hoping your individual experience and the experience with the group has been very, very beneficial for you.
Yes.
And Vivian said, love it. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Lisa.
No, it has. We've
Okay.
it's actually drawn us closer and it's actually just helped us to just release some stuff, release some feelings, some hurt feelings, learn how to deal with things differently, get a different perspective. Because they might too. It's like it's great. I can't, thank you enough for the book. I'm really excited about it. And see what we'll be done December. We already got a graduation date.
I was gonna say, now I was hoping you wouldn't mind me sharing that. So this group, Lisa and the two cousins that are in this group with her, I felt so special. One, when she said that they wanted to do it together. Cool. That's kind of one of the things Nicole and I envisioned as we were writing it. And after we had a little conversation, she sent me a text and my mind was blown. They literally, I was gonna ask your permission to put it on the invitation on Facebook because it didn't have names on it, but they literally planned a graduation from the date that they started the journal to the date they expect to end. So they're gonna do it over a 12-month time frame, a topic each month to work through, to meet and discuss. So they call it, one of the phrases that came up in conversations was a year to a better me. So they're
Mhm.
giving themselves a year to be better
Yeah.
and work through this together. And they literally have an invitation that they've created with a date and time for them to graduate into this new life.
I love it. I love it.
My God. Oh my God. Like that was everything for me. Like I was like, if no one else got it, if no one else purchased it,
Yeah.
if no one else worked through it, for me, the
Yeah.
goal was met, right? So
Yeah.
thank you so
Yes.
much. Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
and our group me page is the name of our group is the Freedom Journey to Empowerment.
Yeah, that's what the invitation is titled. The
Yeah.
Journey to
Freedom
Empowerment.
Journey to
Yeah.
Empowerment. Yeah.
So cool, so cool. Fajika, let me see what Fajika said. Sis, take the love and adjust. It's so many men that don't want to own their girl. Let me read
Their
the whole thing
roles.
before I start
Yeah.
making noises. Let me do it again.
Read it out loud
Fajika
now.
said-
Read it.
Fajika said, sis,
Yep.
take the love and adjust. It's so many men that don't want to own their roles. Yes. If old school means he's driving from his place to yours to roll the trash up because he don't want
Yep.
you to do it, and he's worried about you running out of gas, take it. Take it, because I can tell you there are so many young women, well, older women too, but definitely young women today that won't ever experience that type of care from a man.
Well, you're right. And I'm 58 years old, and I can honestly say he is the first person that has treated me this way. I don't have to ask for anything. I can no matter I can mumble a word and he is sending me a text because he don't went a whole Googling stuff.
Right.
Is I don't have to ask for anything.
Yeah.
He is, and that's why I don't mind doing it. It's like I'm always trying to think of something new to do to keep it fresh because and he's that way. He what's wrong with your truck? He'll fix it. What's wrong with this? He'll fix it. It's like, and I'm trying to make it easier for him. Well, babe, I don't want you to have to come do that. I don't want you to have to come do that.
Hey, let that man do what he do. He bring the best of who he is to the relationship.
But you know what he always says to me when I say something? He said, but ain't that what I'm supposed to do?
Hello.
And I've never had that before. That's his main. He said, ain't that what I'm supposed to do? So it was new for me, letting go and trusting somebody to do all of this stuff when I was so used to doing it myself.
Yeah. So
yeah.
you manifested what you wanted. You just didn't overcome. Right. So Fajika said, my Lord, you have a gem. Okay.
Yeah.
And on that note, go ahead, Nicole.
No, I'll say absolutely a rare jewel.
Yeah. And on that note, I'd like to thank everyone that has joined the chat tonight for lifestyle topic number 6 as we have moved through this first half of the 12 days. I hope you enjoyed the chat tonight because I certainly have. I certainly have. I want you guys to come back tomorrow. Come back each and every day until we get to March 29th. That will be the last topic that we walk through. Again, we're hoping that this is powerfully healing, and more than anything, us sharing our stories and our guests sharing their stories gives each and every one of you the permission to think it's okay to heal, to go through the journey. And whether they're sharing something that's very heartfelt, very scary that they went through, or very funny, that's life. You're going to experience all the emotions, so embrace it.
Mm.
If you've been holding all this stuff in your head and you're gonna get to it, get it out. Get the journal. Not only does this journal provide a space for you to write stuff, it's a guided journal to take you specifically to the places that you need to go. And while it will be hard work, it is something that pays off, but we want it to be fun. So figure out a way when you acquire the journal to make it something that you look forward to doing each and every time you pick it up. Yep. All right. Well, Berna said yes, yes, and thanks, Lisa. Thank you,
Yeah.
everyone that tuned
Thanks,
in tonight.
everybody.
And I'm going to ask
Absolutely.
you all to do me a huge, huge, huge favor. Everyone that's looking at this live tonight, I want you to go back on my LaDawn Elliott Facebook page if you have not, if you missed the previous episodes, to go watch them. And then once you watch those, plus the one you were here for live tonight, share it. If you have to share it in the messenger to someone privately that you think might benefit, share it. Share the messages, because again, we believe this journal will be helpful and we want to help as many people as we possibly can. And this is a way
Yes.
for us to touch a lot of people at one time. So help us